Greetings, fellow truth seekers. Today I'm excited to share captivating metaphors that shed light on the enigmatic nature of the ego. The reason why I wanted to share these metaphors is because the human mind understands these deep concepts better through examples or stories. Metaphors act as bridges between the abstract and the concrete, allowing us to grasp complex ideas by relating them to familiar experiences. So let's dive into these metaphors and allow them to illuminate the profound mystery of the ego. You see, the ego, the very concept they often teach us is that it is an illusion, a mere figment of our imagination. This can be a perplexing notion to grasp. We're told it's not real, yet its influence is undeniably present in our lives. This paradox can leave many feeling deeply bewildered. How can something proclaimed as unreal, an illusion, still be present and influence our lives? One teaching that has profoundly illuminated this concept for me is the metaphorical comparison of the ego to a shadow. You see, a shadow isn't a tangible thing that exists independently. Rather, a shadow is merely the absence of light. In the same way, the ego is not a thing. It is simply the absence of true understanding. Just as a shadow is cast by the interplay of light and objects, the ego is cast by the interplay of our thoughts and perceptions. The shadow beautifully exemplifies the representation of the ego, illustrating how the ego can be perceived as unreal, an illusion, yet it still manifests its existence. If the ego is akin to a shadow, then what about the unseen forces it exerts, shaping the course of our lives? Much like the wind molds the world around us, these influences can't be overlooked. Let's delve into yet another metaphor. Consider the wind. Can you see the wind? No. We can only see the effects of the wind, like the rustling leaves and swaying branches. Just like the wind, we can't see or grasp the ego. It's the invisible force that influences our actions and thoughts. Just as the wind is the movement of air, the ego is the movement of the mind. The ego, like a breeze, stirs the surface of a tranquil pond. It creates ripples and disturbances, making it hard to see our true reflection. But remember, the ripples on the pond do not change its depth or its essential nature. Just like the ego creates these ripples on the surface of our consciousness, obscuring our true essence, the pond in itself serves also as a rich analogy that allows us to delve deeper into comprehending the intricacies of the ego. Much like the ego, at first you only can see the surface, but underneath lies a complex and often obscured world. The ripples on the surface represent our thoughts, desires, and actions, easily visible and noticed. However, the depth of the pond symbolizes the subconscious, where hidden motivations, fears, and past experiences reside. Just as the true depths of the pond are often unseen, the true depths of the ego are often not immediately apparent to us. It takes introspection and self-awareness to truly understand the complexities within. As we contemplate the profound connection between the pond's depths and the intricate layers of the ego, it becomes evident that understanding our own consciousness requires us to dive beneath the surface. Now, the final metaphor I'm about to share will illuminate yet another layer of understanding the ego. How our ego constructs intricate webs of beliefs and identification. That's why we can metaphorically represent this intricate construction by likening it to a spider spinning its web. Just like a spider meticulously crafting its web. Each silk thread represents a belief, a thought, or an experience. intricately intertwined to create the complex structure we call the ego. Much like a spider's survival depends on its web, we too are dependent on our ego for survival in this physical world. But we often attach ourselves to this mental construct, identifying strongly with its intricate threads. We believe that it defines who we are, forming the basis of our identity. Just as the spider relies on its web for sustenance and safety, we rely on our ego for a sense of identity and security in the world. However, it's essential to remember that, just as the web is not the spider itself, the ego is not our true essence. It's a creation of the mind, an intricate construct we've come to identify with over time. I hope that these metaphors can guide you on your journey of self-discovery. Embrace the understanding that the essence of who you are transcends this mental construct we call the ego. Embrace your ego, acknowledge its function, comprehend its true essence, and dance with the rhythm of life, for in doing so, you will become who you truly are.